Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Construction Show. We're here at ConExpo. Today, we're featuring ConstructEdge. We've got David Smigel. Sorry, David. He's the VP at ConstructEdge, connecting networks, and he's going to explain a lot better than me, so I'll let him do that. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, we planned this out to come here and do this live at the event here, so it's just lots of fun.
Yeah. This is one of those events that's kind of hard to peg what's going to happen. It's every 3 years.
Yeah.
The last time this show happened was right as the pandemic hit, so it got cut short.
Yeah.
So we've been the whole team has been pretty anxious to get out here and see what the conversations are like, and it hasn't disappointed.
Has it been good?
Yeah, we're really seeing that the level of technology is being valued highly, and we just don't know how to do it.
Right. What can you walk us through? We'll do the overview of ConstructEdge and stuff, but can you just kind of paint a picture of the people, the potential customers? I'm talking about like sort of good leads that are coming up at a show like this. What are they asking? How are they starting the conversation with you?
Right. Well, the first thing they do is they come up and look at our booth, and they're very interested. Anything that says technology,
right,
in this space of the construction space, it catches the eye, right? So they know this, but what do you do? And so the whole team, we have to try to cover this vast array of technology services in about a minute, so that we can figure out where their pain is, the pain points. And so that's really what the clients that come up at this show have been all walks of life in the construction space.
Yeah.
So subcontractors, general contractors, civil construction, general commercial. We've had agricultural come up. We've had manufacturers come up. We've had a lot of partner conversations.
Yeah, actually, I meant to mention we're going to have Jay Hess on at the very end of the show just for 5 minutes to talk about Orbit, the Orbit side, which is the agriculture side of your business.
Yep, and Jay's also he's a product director across the company, and so we work together quite a bit in the construction space as well.
I want to do a little bit of a reverse to get into what ConstructEdge does. Can you tell me a couple things that people think that you do, or that they get confused by, or make an assumption, or don't realize you do this much? That sort of that confused conversation that starts in the tech space.
That's a great question. I haven't had people ask that before. Most people, when they see technology and connected, they automatically assume it's internet. You guys provide internet. And that's actually a pretty small piece of what we do. Another confusing thing is they think that we'll come up and we'll write applications and we'll help with spreadsheets or develop software. So we consult on that type of thing, but that's really not what we do. We provide the infrastructure to enable the applications to make things more productive and safe and efficient.
So going into what you do, can you actually, what I wanted to do is do, there was what was it? The Global GC Bridge. Can you walk, because that was quite interesting. You have actually a chart of how it was all set up. Can you paint a picture of that project so that the audience can see how you actually carry something like that out?
That's a good one, because that particular project consumed all our products that we offer.
Oh, really?
Right? So let me just give you just like a quick, what is our 60-second pitch? So ConstructEdge is an end-to-end managed services company. And you typically hear that, an IT managed services company. The difference is we're not IT, we're operational technology. So it's where the technology is, where the businesses make money. Construction, it's the field, it's where the building, right? So we are an IT or an OT provider, but it's management of the technology. Right. So that's a key piece of it. And so the best way to think about it is our products line up with the timeline of a job site.
Okay.
Most construction companies, they try to win bids, and that's most of the industry. They win a bid, and that sales group has to be it's very competitive, and they are usually, being in a very cutthroat environment. So they get the bid. If a company wins it, it's usually the timeline's already ticking. Right. And the budget's tight. So then what happens in that company when the bid comes in? There's pre-construction work that's already been started, but that hits the desk of so many departments in a construction company, a general contractor or a subcontractor. Now, they actually have to take the time to figure out how they're going to get a trailer there within a week or 2 weeks. And then it's not ready. How are they going to get internet there in 2 weeks? How are they going to get infrastructure out there so that everything's working? They have to mobilize so many things.
Yeah.
The technology piece of that, you would think it'd be a simple thing, this very beginning of a project, but that's so painful for so many companies. Internet doesn't get installed in 2 weeks or a month, especially if you want higher speeds or better quality, right? And then you have to come up with temporary solutions, and you have to continue on down that path. So our product suite is everything with the trailer. To get a trailer mobilized, you have to source internet, you have to get it installed, you have to come up with a temp internet solution. Sometimes you have to make a custom internet solution. We do all of that within our Trailer Connect product.
Right.
And then from there, who's going to set the trailer up? The trailer actually has to have all the networking inside of it. It needs television, cameras, you name it. They have managed routers, Wi-Fi. You have to run cabling, right? And then is it a single wide or a double wide? Oh, no, it's all of that. And they're going to put in a triple. Oh, well, it's not all working. Well, who's going to do all that work? And that's such a burden on the corporate IT teams, or sometimes the general contractors. They don't have all the subs there to help get this complete.
With a ticking clock.
It's a ticking clock. And so that part of our product encompasses all of that. We'll even keep the inventory of our clients at our headquarters to make it easier. So when they place that order in our platform, we're already provisioning their equipment that they own per their IT specs and the security standards. And then we are doing all of the provisioning that we need to do for our equipment, their equipment. We're sourcing internet, giving them options to purchase what they want.
Right.
So they don't have to do all that work, and they can make a decision. Then we'll get it installed for them. And while we're there, we're installing all of their technical equipment. And what else do they need? They might need these trailers to be linked because it's a network now. It's a trailer network.
Right.
So we set up trailer networks, and then we manage them. And a lot of general contractors or subs, they don't want to have to deal with that. And now there's way more of a demand on the technology in a trailer because the field needs more connected devices and workers to stay connected, and productivity is at a premium.
Yeah.
So then our focus goes to the field.
Let's talk about our heavy industry tour brought to you by Savannah Equipment, supplying mining equipment worldwide. We are heading to events across North America, Africa, and Australia, and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsman.com to be part of our Crownsman's Heavy Industry World Tour. ZeroNox is leading the electrification of off-highway commercial and industrial vehicles. They provide a platform for clean energy technology to get to market through powertrain solutions, development partnerships, and electrification kit solutions for conversions. Reduce carbon emissions without diminishing vehicle performance or being restricted by high costs. Partner with ZeroNox, like many of the world's leading OEMs, as they solve challenges across multiple continents with their cleaner and higher performing technology. ZeroNox solutions are designed and engineered in America with offices in Porterville, California. Learn more at zeronox.com. Dayquip specializes in the design and manufacturing of attachments for all makes and models of compact excavators, wheel loaders, crawl dozers, and articulated dump trucks. You can choose from any of their engineered attachments, or they can design and build to your specifications. All of their products can be shipped anywhere in North America, hassle-free. If you don't see it, just ask and they will build it. Check out their website, www.dayquip.com, or email them info@dayquip.com for sales, quotes, and support.
Are you doing like data feeds as well from like these sensor technology and stuff? Are you helping facilitate getting that fed through the network?
Consider us the infrastructure to the entire job site, but the field, like our field first technology services, is we're looking at where they build. It could be a pipeline, it could be renewable energy, solar field, it could be a data center, it could be a bridge, which I'll talk about here.
Right.
They have to stay connected to some degree, and they have to continue to be productive.
Yeah.
How do you finish a project on time, on budget, when nobody knows what's happening? You don't have live communication, or you don't have any real-time data flow for the apps.
Yeah.
Well, you have to have the infrastructure that can change with the job. Where they're building they don't build something and it's nice and neat and tidy. There's 30 companies trying to do it.
What would be an example of changing with the job? What would be like a physical example of that?
Well, the first that happens a lot of times is they have to break ground. There's a green field, and they're going to have to get in there. They're going to have to excavate, and they're going to have to move on to different areas of the job. They're going to go down so they can go up. Right. And so every time that happens, it's a change in the field of work. It's a change with the people that are working on the job.
Yeah.
Right. And then whatever's set up has to be in a permanent scenario, so it can be moved within 3 months to 6 months or a year.
Right.
And then you have the workers that may not understand what it is and move it or turn it off or unplug it.
Right.
So change is that's probably one of our biggest skill set is that it's not just the technology because it's going to change. It's how we handle that change throughout the field, because we want the workers to have the same experience in the trailer as where they're building all the way through. Or we want the sensors or the tools to be picked up, or they want to know where a lift is. That's always a huge problem. Where's the lift, right?
Where's the lift, yeah.
So that's essentially our field connectivity product, is everything in the field that needs to stay connected, or it needs to be, it needs some sort of data or some sort of communication that has to be collected.
Do you see companies, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but do you ever see companies like, oh, well, we can do it internally, and then come to you halfway through the project, go, okay, we need this fixed?
Yeah. And you know, at a certain degree, that might be our biggest competition, is just, there's a very competent corporate IT group. They're all very competent. They had to work in the construction field, so they're ruggedized, these IT groups, right? Yeah. And then the field teams are always sitting with this challenge of technology. So everybody's ramped up and know how to do it, but that's not where they want to spend their time.
Right. Yeah.
So we typically fit in the middle of that. And then to make it even more complicated, above this is the owners and the C-suite of this general contractor. So they're, pushing down information to the field operations team, or corporate IT, that they don't receive it the same way.
Right.
So we're in the middle of that, improving the processes and making sure that, what I always tell companies to work with, we work for corporate IT, we work with the field team.
Right.
Because that's hard to get done, right? And so that product suite that I just explained encompasses the timeline of a job. Because even the decommissioning or the handing over to the owner of a job is critical. You don't lose all that equipment and you cancel contracts on time, because if you don't, that's thousands of dollars that hit the bottom line.
Right.
And the profitability is always not that high. So we're always trying to prevent the loss of profit from just something as simple as canceling a contract.
Right. Are you, what was I going to ask actually? Oh, I want to go back to that bridge. So day one of you on site on that bridge project, which is quite a major project, right? What does day one look like? What does 2 months look like?
So this particular company, they win this bid, and then there is actually an innovation director that I knew, and he was talking about the problem that they're having with making sure that this bridge, it was the way they were handling it was they were going to be recycling the old bridge and putting up a new bridge. So it was a green project, and it had to do, the state was involved, and it's a civil project, because there was a lot of moving parts. So we had to look at the whole problem and reverse engineer what they were looking for, which is to have sensors on these bridges to be live and providing data, and workers that are on barges and tugboats still have to use iPads and still have to be able to communicate.
Right. So those sensors on the bridge, what kind of sensor, what kind of data are they having to feed it?
It could be whether curing concrete, or it could be vibrations.
Okay. So monitoring development.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And so we had to reverse engineer everything and say, okay, you need X amount of bandwidth just to support the need of the person in the field on a boat.
Right.
Or whatever that thing is. And so we had to bring in internet to this area where there was nothing. So we had to work with different carriers, and we developed our own, internet, a ConstructEdge internet where we brought in infrastructure from different providers.
Oh, wow.
And brought in a lot of bandwidth to feed these trailers. And then the trailers moved on us after we did all this work. So now what we had to do is set up a point of presence and then shoot a link over to the trailers, right, to get them lit up. And so that took a lot of extra work. And that 1 to 2 trailers turned out to be about 10 trailers. So we had to scale the internet and provide a network for them.
Wow.
Including some trailers on a cellular network. And we had to really lean into setting up the trailers.
And this is not, it didn't go from 2 to 10 day one. This is in real time as the project's developing. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And then we had to figure out how to get the internet from the trailers that moved from the bank. They moved way up. Now we have to get it to the bridge. The only way we could do it was to hit it off a tower, a nearby tower that was just constructed. We were the first company to go on it. So we shoot a link to the tower, shoot a link from the tower down to the bridge on both sides of the water, and then create a redundant wireless network so that it's, if one goes down, the other one's running, because it was a high SLA. It was a difficult job that they couldn't really be down. So we set all this up, and then every barge and every tugboat had an Omni receiver on it with our network, and they would basically, every worker would have Wi-Fi on these barges and tugboats and wherever they were at on inland of the bridge on both sides. And so that was an extensive project. It took us a long time to engineer it, but at the end of the day, we had workers connected all the time. And their productivity went way up because all the applications were giving real-time data.
Yeah.
And if there was a problem, they could make a phone call.
Yeah.
Through whether it was Zoom or Teams or something. Because believe it or not, in those areas, the cellular coverage wasn't that great.
Right. So you have to connect. Even conversation needs to be through WhatsApps and all that.
Absolutely.
Sort of thing.
When you see the orange iron of a Ditch Witch machine out in the field, you can be sure of one thing: a job is getting done. As the leading manufacturer of underground construction equipment, Ditch Witch has been a catalyst of innovation for the industry since the day they were founded. And with a worldwide and world-class dealership network that features over 175 dealerships across the globe, this equipment is backed by the best. Learn more at ditchwitch.com. Based in Southern California, Enhanced Scanning has performed thousands of projects on construction sites across the U.S. in an effort to help its customers find the unfindable. Enhanced Scanning combines ground-penetrating radar, laser scanning, and drone inspection services to provide comprehensive deliverables for their customers' fast-paced timelines, all without sacrificing quality or communication. To learn more, you can visit them at enhancedscanning.com or find them on LinkedIn at Enhanced Scanning. Fender Dunlop Usflex belts are engineered to withstand the harshest applications, delivering benefits that solve customer problems via superior rip, tear, and impact resistance. Usflex are extremely strong and robust belts that are difficult to destroy, which is important for heavy-duty bulk material handling environments. Made in their very own North American manufacturing facilities, this revolutionary concept in straight warp conveyor belting is up to 3 times more impact resistant versus competitor belting. Usflex users use fewer belts per year, make fewer belt repairs and replacements, reduce or eliminate belt downtime, and improve employee safety. You can visit FenderDunlopAmericas.com to learn more about their premium Usflex conveyor belting.
When you go on, actually, I want to jump to another project example. Because I found this one interesting, is on the underground side. I live in an apartment in Vancouver, so you go underground, you lose your connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
I can just imagine if you've got sensors for concrete curing. You've got you need to know where people are because you're doing these wind down platforms and all this sort of stuff. Is that a big part of your business? These underground, or I think I saw a pretty good outline of one big project you did.
Well, I don't actually parse it out to is we go after something underground or we go after like a high rise.
Right.
We have different, we kind of segment it out to different areas like large campus and small campus and vertical, horizontal, and then you have civil. But in this scenario, it's just about where the pain is for these companies. Well, getting underground and providing consistent connectivity, you actually have to, and internet connectivity outside of just being able to get data from devices. And
because of the way the construction is, it's there's all these literally concrete barriers as you go through the different sections, right?
Absolutely. So you have to be, the engineering team will design a way to keep all the devices connected almost in a redundant way, right? So whether it's cabled or mesh, but we'll come up with a way to bring internet down or the network down, and then have our devices set up in a way that they have redundancy and they won't fail on them.
Right, but in that, where I was trying to figure out though is like as it evolves on that site, how are you shifting? Okay, so day one on a site like that, and they've got the framework. Are you putting up an internet connection, and then they put the concrete in, and then you have to put in a new connection system? Like it goes in stages on something like that?
Yeah, we have to design a project and the engineering behind it based on the phases of a job.
Right.
100%. So we'll take a look, you're going to end up having X amount of access points or LTE connections on a job. We look at all the phases. So phase one takes in consideration that phase one will end and phase three has already started. 2's in the middle of it. So we will go ahead and kind of reverse engineer what has to be fed out and what can be moved, and the amount of bandwidth that has to be distributed for the workers. So there could be a point where phase 1 and 4, everybody's there. And that's where we have to have the most amount of, ability to connect or amount of internet being provided. Yeah. And then it can start to scale down as phase 1's done. Right. And phase 2 goes down. And then actually you start to be whatever the finishing is. So what you're asking is, that all comes into like the design, like it's the building information model. Yeah. We layer technology into that. So when you ConstructEdge, we put a ConstructEdge logo into an area, we're going to see a rate of efficiency by 20% because we know you're going to have real-time data and live communication. And we've thought it through the project. And even if you change the job, plans changed. Right. That's just another day for ConstructEdge.
Right.
We have the ability to pivot on what we're doing and manage it. Send somebody there, have somebody already there, or do it remotely so we can give them what they need.
Is there a lot of training that goes into getting their teams on board as well? Is there a lot of communication there, so that, or is there a lot of hands-on from your end? Both.
It's both.
Yeah.
And that has improved a lot. In other words, there's training and then there's being receptive for training.
Yeah.
And so right now everybody's a lot more receptive to, to see something that's techno. It's not a drill. That's not a piece of construction equipment.
Yeah.
And just move it. Right now, everybody's a little more leery because they know that that's impacting a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then our team is always on standby. Like we provide services. If there's any issues at all, they call us. Or proactively, we see something and we'll start to dive into it.
Right.
So we're always on.
Going on to, I want to get onto the orbit side here in a second, but I just wanted to, because we're going to get Jay on. But before we do, I wanted to just touch on the energies space that you work in as well.
Yep.
Just maybe give us an example of what a project would look like in that space.
Yeah. So we are seeing a lot more of the solar side, but we work in wind. And you can even see battery banks and all that stuff that's really kicking in. We're in a majority of the renewable sites these days. We're actually in a lot of them right now. And you have hard to reach locations. So there's hard to get internet there. And it's long distances.
And they want a whole bunch of data, I'm guessing.
There's a lot of critical, important information. These are utilities, so the government's involved. And so, and they're on a pretty tight budget. There's a lot of safety concerns because these workers are out in the middle of nowhere. They don't have 911 capabilities, the way to communicate, and they get hurt. That's a huge liability. So this industry, that particular subset of the construction industry is booming. And so we've invested a lot of time and energy to provide things like what I have behind me here is like a private LTE. It's an LTE that ConstructEdge is the provider. We're licensed with the FCC, so we can actually shoot a link with our own SIM cards. It's not Verizon, not anybody else's, our own SIM cards that pulls the internet from the trailer, but it can go miles.
Wow.
And now they have their iPad or phone with our SIM cards, and now there's the data. And they're connected wherever they go.
Wow.
So we are the local private cellular network for job sites. And so in the renewable energy space, that's really important. But actually, even the underground or the bridge. So we can do Wi-Fi or we can do LTE, and a private LTE is huge, and it's the future of like a bubble over the job site for all things to be collected.
Right. It's I mean, we could keep going. I want to there's so much to cover. What do you, before I let you go, can you paint a little bit of a picture of where you see the most opportunity for you as a company, where the main focus of technology is going to be, just sort of that forward-facing side?
Well, the entire construction industry, and we see some with oil and gas, and we see anything that's OT, operational technology, typically in rugged areas, right? Really wicked environments. You have to be collecting, everything needs to be connected and managed. Doesn't mean you have to have internet there. So our vision is that we have a bubble of connectivity or a fog layer that covers a job site, and everyone and everything has an element where it's providing data, real-time data, and live communication. That really helps with safety and productivity in a huge way. So that layer has always been impossible, but you don't have to have everything connected to the internet. The edge is where the trailer is. We would have our edge gateway there. Right. And that's where the internet's at. Everything else, you should just have to opt in. There's connectivity everywhere. Do you need it to be real time to the cloud, real time to just have edge computing done? That is what we're doing this year.
Right. So, sorry, I just want to clarify. So you don't necessarily need that trailer is kind of like a hub. That's where the data needs to get to. And so, you were saying it off air, and I didn't actually quite understand it. So that, because not every application needs internet.
That's correct.
Right. It's going to some of it just needs to go to a data bank. That doesn't need to then go out. Right.
That's correct. Yep. And whether you're trying to, if you're superintendent and you want to know where the lift is or where tools are, if you can just type in a find me feature, right? But you trust that the network is there.
The network,
you trust that it's up and running, so that is going to be real time data.
Yeah,
and that's the last place.
Regardless if there's an internet connection there, it doesn't
has nothing to do with it.
Right. Yeah. Right. And I'm sure we talked about earlier. You mentioned it that's where some confusion can happen with what you're offering.
Yep. The definition of connectivity doesn't always mean internet, right? Things being connected. Eventually they can get to the cloud, right? Or they can get right out to, let's say it's a wide area network or a VPN from the HQ of a corporate IT group for a general contractor, right? Well, that's the WAN, the network.
Yeah.
But they don't always need things to run there. They want stuff to happen in real time because it's
Right.
important. There's a lot of safety issues. There's fall protection. And now you see, you know, things like digital twins.
Yeah.
You have like
We
LiDAR.
feature them on the show. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get models together and
Unbelievable.
collision detection. So you have to have somebody managing to make sure the technology is
Yeah.
staying up to date
Right.
and live.
Yeah. It's amazing stuff, David. Thanks for coming on. We're gonna get your I keep screwing his name up to Jay. It's so easy.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Jay on to come and talk about Orbit.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Okay, for the second part of the interview, this is just going to be a shorter segment. We're going to have Jay Hess on. He's the director of product at Orbit. Jay, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, David and I had a pretty good chat, and we wanted to just not leave the event. You know, don't get to see each other in person a lot, living on other sides of the countries. But can you just give us that summary of Orbit, and then we'll kind of dive into a couple specifics on it.
Yeah, so Orbit is really focused on helping the pork producers throughout North America with their technology problems. So similar to ConstructEdge, Orbit is really just focused on in barns, on the farm, in the field, in their feed mills, delivering technology solutions, whether it be around connectivity, security, communications, or productivity.
Is it what has happened in the industry to sort of create this a larger demand?
Yeah, so with, being harder to get workforce right now, and then some of the laws that are coming out around the pork producers, around biosecurity and everything like that, it's really forcing them to adopt more technology.
Yeah.
And being in rural America, they don't have the best connectivity. And so, that's kind of where we started, is how do we get better connectivity for them, and how do we get better connectivity not just to their barns, but throughout their entire barns.
Right.
And then it just has kind of grown from there, right? We're fortunate to have one of the largest pork producers in the U.S. be kind of our anchor customer that helped get us started, right? Brenneman Pork, based in Iowa. So they've been kind of helping navigate us and stuff.
How are you finding the customers? Are they reaching out, or when you tell them what you do, they know the demand, they know the laws that are coming? Is it a pretty high level of engagement right now?
It's pretty high level engagement, yeah, because so many of them just have so many pains, and they are having to take their workforce and distract them with worried about technology, and so we're there just helping serve them.
Yeah.
And with a couple of the agencies and stuff that we're involved in, and some of the peer groups that we're involved in the pork producer space, it's really just helped us, be looked at as the technology experts on the farm.
So what do they know what they need when they're talking to you, or they just say we need to be connected? And
a lot of times it's just we need to be connected, I was dealing with a situation here yesterday that they were like, hey, we just need a new computer. And I said, okay, do you have internet? And they were like, yeah, we got internet. And I said, okay. So we get on site, and they definitely didn't, their internet wasn't working. They'd never used it before.
oh no.
It was in their office, not in their barn where we were installing the computer. And so a lot of times they don't really know what they need exactly, but it's like, okay, they know directionally a little bit about what they need.
Right.
And then we just kind of help guide them through, okay, yep, no problem. We know that, you thought you had it here, but you actually need it here. No big deal. We can help guide you on it. And then some of the larger producers, we work with, if you're looking at the top 15 producers in the U.S., a lot of them know exactly what they need, but they need help in executing on it.
Yeah.
They need, experts on biosecurity. They need, experts on, okay, putting managed Wi-Fi, inside a barn when you have to deal with biosecurity. It's very complex.
Right.
You're showering into the barns, you're showering out of the barns, and stuff like that. And so we have developed unique ways to make sure that, all of our techs are maintaining the highest level of biosecurity possible. but then also make sure that, it's easy for us to service and not distract their business.
Right. I guess a difference with David, we were talking a lot about basically an evolving job site. Here, I guess it's a little more fixed, right? It's about getting it right the first time. This isn't, they don't want it to move for the next 30 years.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So we are all about, sometimes we're there, as they're building the farm. So Brenneman Pork, they built a new farm this past year. We were there from day one.
Right.
They built that farm.
I'm sure it makes things much easier.
Makes things a little bit easier. Right. Getting to do a clean install. But sometimes, it's, hey, we need you to outfit this existing barn.
Yeah.
And, and then sometimes it's, with X technology. And then sometimes it's just, hey, we start servicing them on degrading technology, and they can't upgrade it today. They can't afford to upgrade it today, right? And so we'll maintain it and then try to work with them on when can they afford to upgrade that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is, as the technology gets better and better, there's obviously, do you sort of set up knowing that there's going to be these upgrades in 3 years, 4 years? I mean, there's something new that's going to be, it's just much more efficient and all that sort of thing. Is that part of the planning process?
Absolutely. That's definitely part of the planning process, and, we're there. We're going to the shows with them. We're meeting with their executive team on a monthly basis, really talking about what are their business goals and how can technology help them. And we're constantly researching the industry, constantly researching new technology in order to help them. And then we're trying to design as far out as possible to make sure that the networks are capable of doing everything that it's going to support when it comes to the security, communication, and productivity.
Or have you seen yet the requirements jump? I'm not in the agriculture space, but as an example, let's say it's a pork producer and they adopt a whole new sensor technology. So they needed this much, and now all of a sudden they need this much. Are you seeing that kind of thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of basically putting in a new feeder system that is basically helping electronically feed the pigs, right? And the manufacturer of the system, they had installed about in a max of 300 sow farm, and now we're dealing with farrowing farm, 300 farrowing farm. But now this particular one that we installed it in had 1,600 farrowing pigs, so it's significantly bigger. And when you see a jump like that, obviously there's issues to work out, whether it be with the vendor, whether it be our network, everything like that. And we're there helping work through them. Yeah,
it's exciting. It was kind of a nice little tag on to this show to be able to do it. So Jay, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully, maybe at some point we'll get a chance to do like a full ag show and we'll really dive into it. But it was good to do this one.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everybody for watching. We'll have links to ConstructEdge, Orbit. You can connect with Jay and David. Great to be doing these episodes. We've got more coming at you from the construction show. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.